Psalm 91. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the Almighty. I will say of the Lord, He is my refuge and my fortress. My God, in Him I will trust. Surely He shall deliver you from the snare of the fowler and from the perilous pestilence. He shall cover you with His feathers, and under His wings you shall take refuge. His truth shall be your shield and buckler. You shall not be afraid of the terror by night, nor of the arrow that flies by day, nor of the pestilence that walks in darkness, nor of the destruction that lays waste at noonday. 1,000 may fall at your side, and 10,000 at your right hand, but it shall not come near you. Only with your eyes shall you look and see the reward of the wicked. Because you have made the Lord, who is my refuge, even the Most High, your dwelling place. No evil shall befall you, nor shall any plague come near you, your dwelling. For He shall give His angels charge over you, to keep you in all your ways. In their hands they shall bear you up, lest you dash your foot against a stone. You shall tread upon the lion and the cobra, the young lion and the serpent you shall trample underfoot. Because He has set His love upon me, therefore I will deliver him. I will set him on high, because he has known my name. He shall call upon me, and I will answer him. I will be with him in trouble. I will deliver him and honor him. With long life I will satisfy him and show him my salvation. And we want to welcome all of His Glory Nation, from east to west to north to south. Welcome to today's Take 5. Happy Monday, August the 14th. A lot going on in the world, as you know. Our prayers go out to the folks in Maui. It's not what you see. So we'll continue to keep them up in prayer. There are, I think, about 171 tickets still available to join us in Vegas. Use the His Glory code. Many. I think this is the largest amount of speakers ever at a Reawaken tour. Episode 20, hard to believe. That Friday night, we'll be doing baptisms. I think we're over 5,500 baptisms. We were just in Michigan last weekend, and it was about 10 miles from where my old stomping grounds, and we did seven baptisms there. All right, it's time now to bring on Bo Polny and Andrew Sorchini. I was telling Andrew before we went live, first of all, welcome to both of you, and I'll tell you what the audience said. Welcome.
Thank you. God bless.
So this is probably one of the most anticipated shows we've ever done. I don't recall ever getting so many text messages and emails about specific questions. People are maybe starting to realize that we are on the brink of something big happening, because I was asking about intelligent portfolios, and they're concerned about money CDs, their banks. How do they take how do they take possession through their IRAs and 401ks? So people understand what's happening in the banks. Maybe I'll kick it off to you first, Andrew. You sent me a text today about a situation in banks.
Oh, yeah. Heartland Tri-State Bank out of Kansas actually closed all their locations without any warning. And they were all taken over by another bank shortly thereafter. But it's like everywhere you turn on the TV, you hear about the Barbie movie, you hear about the Taylor Swift concert here in Los Angeles, but I don't hear anything about a bank failing. And I think they were more than happy to bury that under this other news. Yeah. And but this just shows that as good as things feel in the economy right now, there is a grim situation happening where there is de-dollarization happening, and other countries are just tired of using the dollar. It's going to make our dollar worth less, and coupled with inflation, we're going to need things to be able to hedge what we're not going to be able to hold on to with the value of the dollar, and that's with gold and silver.
Yeah, three quick things before I kick it over to Bo. One, we just had a report come out on Friday, I believe, that said the average household from last July to this July is $700 more to get the same cost of groceries. Also, there was a report today that came out that we are now the largest in debt. Consumers are in debt at the largest number ever in American history. That came out today. And then we know tomorrow gold back is going to Russia, and then BRICS nations are getting together in the next couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
Yeah. No, we're at a critical time point. What actually go back to our prior several podcasts and our talks based on the cycle timing and the calculations, everything pointed to the glory was supposed to shift. There was supposed to be a massive change begin on the calculated date of August 9th. Pastor Dave and Andrew, look what happened in Maui and everything. Everyone's talking about all the massive changes that are happening right now. So I'm telling you, what happened in Maui is now going to work its way across the United States. God is about to start, well, he's started now. We're starting to see the destruction of the United States. And as might maybe as horrible as that might be to many people, you see, there's two aspects to the Bible, and you can confirm this, Pastor Dave. You know, we're to be in the world, not of the world.
Right.
And the problem is the second part, is the of the world. Most of the people are of the world. And that's the problem. So when you're of the world, you're holding on really tight. And so, like this event that happened, as horrible as it is in Miami, I'm sorry, in Maui, this is just the start. You see, we're going to see the destruction of the United States because the United States that we know, in our hearts, the one nation founded under God, all men are created equal. Um, please understand it's gone. Okay. That United States that we, 1776, all of that aspect is completely corrupt, controlled, bought and paid for. And that's why in the Bible it talks very specifically about Mystery Babylon. What is Mystery Babylon? It means that you think that what you're seeing is real, but in fact, it's a show, it's a stage performance with actors, and behind the scenes, there are people pulling strings. And so that's why it's called Mystery Babylon, because it's a show. And so, as horrendous as what's happened in Miami, please understand this is only a beginning. Everything was pointing to all systems were a go. Everything was supposed to start based on the time, Daniel 12, verse 7 calculation. It will be for a time, times and a half a time. The specific date calculated is incredible, but it happened to the exact date that everything started, and it was supposed to start on the 9th of August. Look the day what happened in Maui on that day. And now it's all over the news. This is going to now reverberate across the United States with the destruction of the United States. Why? Because the United States that that we know right now is corrupt. It's corrupt. So this is going to be like we do at the Reawaken Tour. It's the baptismal moment of the United States. The United States must die. So the United States that we know is about to be brought to its knees. These people are going to fight to the death. Why? Because those who have seen the Jim Caviezel movie, okay, that's only the tip of the iceberg of what they've been doing secretly behind the scenes. What they do is horrendous. Remember, these people are demon possessed. Demons hate, when they look at you, demon hates you because you're God's creation. They can't stand you because Satan he was Lucifer, and he was thrown out of heaven. His name is now Satan, with a third of the angels, and all of them hate you because you are made in the image of God. And so now God is now going to destroy what man created. Look at Washington, all the streets are on 33 degrees.
Yeah.
We're going to soon to find out that there's tunnels underneath all of Washington, all of Vatican, there's tunnels. We're going to find out things that have been hidden in the dark, because where does Satan operate? In the dark. And how did he do it? And again, back to our past talks, how'd they do it? With the money. They our job is to educate, the people that are out there. Just tell the people, because it's basically scriptural too. The watchman on the wall, if he doesn't say anything he knows to be true, that he's going to be, the blood will be on his hands,
Yep.
right? And so our job is to educate the people, at least not to so much educate, but just give them knowledge and awareness. And then ultimately decisions are of your own free will, because that's the whole point of the Bible. It's about free will. So you have to decide with your own free will, are what the three of us talking about, make sense? Well, those who've been watching us, everything's playing out exactly how we've been talking, right down to the timing of this. It's all started now. So we're about to see the destruction of the United States. Okay, we're going to see the fall of Washington, the fall of big things in the cities. Why? Because his glory is beginning to manifest, and his glory on this earth cannot be in the same place as evil is. So we're going to start to seeing destruction of things. And so God's starting to flip the tables, and there's coming a moment in time where it's Revelation 18, the king in a single day, the kings of the earth will weep and wail. On that moment in time, people are going to freak out, because it's the ones that are not in this world, but of this world, that are holding on so tight. They're going to lose, many are going to lose everything. And there's going to be a moment in time that everything's going to flip. It's going to be so chaotic. But this is coming to that head, because what's happening is this is a clash of the titans. This is literally, evil's not going to stop, because of what you've seen, and just as a piece of the puzzle in the Jim Caviezel movie, what you've seen is the horrendous things that are done in the dark. And when they cannot let these truths come out, and so their truths are hidden with the money, because the money is the bribes and the payoffs. But when the dollar loses its status as the world reserve currency, and Andrew can expand on all this with relation to the BRICS, something's about to happen with the BRICS, and other things are all going to manifest all at the same time here. When the dollar loses status as the world reserve currency, mark my words, truths are going to come out. Truths are going to come out like you haven't ever imagined. It's going to freak people out. It's going to be mind blowing, because people are going to realize, wait a second, so I've been lied to all my life. I mean, everything that I taught in school was a lie to me. See, there's going to be so many truths that are going to come out to people. They're going to freak people out, because, yes, the three of us and many of your viewers, Pastor Dave, and our viewers, are awake to the truth, but there's, majority of the world is not. And so we are coming to a crux in time where they cannot give up their cards, because they know if the truth comes out, they're finished. So they're going to fight to the death. But God's a victorious God. God's a waymaker, and he's not going to back down. God wrote the end from the beginning, so he's already got a plan. So we're about to see the greatest exposure in human history, the greatest fall of finances in human history, the greatest wealth transfer in human history. And we are so close, because like we talked about last time, it was supposed to start on August 9th. Something massively did. And now we're literally 15 days plus one. So we're just a month away from a very important time point, Rosh Hashanah.
Yep.
And every Rosh Hashanah so far, massive financial things have happened for the past 3 years. And then 10 days after that is the holiest day of the year, Yom Kippur, September 25. So there is very little time for people who haven't done anything about this financially to act, because they are going to lose control of the financial system, specifically silver and gold. When they explode vertical, they just lost control of the financial system. And then that leads into what Andrew was talking about, bank failures and collapses. Okay. So we are ending, this is like a year of jubilee is about to manifest, what we've been waiting for. And specifically, it's Isaiah 61. We are in the year of Jubilee, the year of the Lord's favor. And all we're waiting for, Pastor Dave, is that 24-hour window in time, which
Yep.
is what? The day of vengeance of our God. So sorry for the long intro, but Pastor Dave and Andrew, go ahead.
That's two prophetic voices I've heard get the word of the Lord. The day of vengeance of the Lord is upon us. August 9th is, I didn't know the date that this was coming, but August 9th, the U.S. Navy and the U.S. Marine Corps launched its largest exercise in the history of the Marines for a 10-day period on August the 9th. It hit just about, I think, 6 continents. It's unprecedented what the Marines are doing with the Navy as far as the military movement. I'll kick it over to Andrew, but also I heard just before I came downstairs too, that there is a silver shortage.
Yes, there is. So for people out there, typically in any market, it doesn't matter what it is. It could be widgets, gold, silver, cars. When there's a shortage, then that means that the market isn't meeting the demand, and therefore the prices go higher. But with gold and silver, specifically silver, the physical silver spot price is the exact same as the price of silver that people could trade on ETFs or even on the futures market, depending on what month contract that you're trading. So it's not a true supply and demand situation where paper silver can move the price of physical gold and silver up or down. So while paper silver is plentiful, physical silver is not. And physical silver actually is available now, but there is a shortage. Like you can get it and have it delivered to you within about a week. And that can change almost overnight. We've talked about that so many times when we see that vertical movement that Bo always talks about. It's very, very, people can be easily fooled into thinking that there is not a silver shortage because it does appear to be readily available, but it really just takes one big run, 1 or 2 days, and all the silver just dries up. And you can call around your local shops, you can call us, and we'll say, we don't have silver eagles, or we don't have 100-ounce silver bars. We've seen it happen so many times. So as Bo said, and like we always say, it's a very important time for us to make the move and just reshuffle around our finances a little bit early this year. Most people do this in January. It's kind of like their New Year's resolution. Yeah. Take a look at all your investments and figure out what changes you need to be made. But we are at a crucial time where the dollar is losing value. We're less than a year and a half away from an election where we're certainly going to have a different president than we have now. And that creates uncertainty. And when there's uncertainty, I feel like all people have, number one, is their faith to carry them through it. But number two, you do have a responsibility to yourself and your family to prepare for what we know is coming.
So what would you tell them? I want to hone in on the specific questions I was asked, because I saw like 6 or 7 people, basically the same thing. They want to talk about what to do with their portfolios, what to do with money CDs. They're obviously concerned about keeping any asset in the bank with the bank situation. 401ks and IRAs, how to bring those in to control them physically.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So 401ks that you may have from companies that you've worked at in the past, those can always be rolled over into a precious metals IRA. Even if you still work at the company where the 401k was originated at, there are times when you're able to roll that over into a precious metals IRA. And all existing IRAs, it could be inherited IRAs, Roth IRAs, traditional IRAs. It can be really any IRA can be rolled into a precious metals IRA, and it is not a taxable event. We talk about IRAs all the time, but we don't talk about how it is not a taxable event. Your financial advisor might tell you that it is because they want to keep you where they're at, but it is not a taxable event if you roll a retirement account into a different retirement account within a 60-day window. If it's beyond 60 days, that is a taxable event, but it never takes more than 60 days. So with that being said, the process is simple. You just reach out to us, ask us a few questions about how the process works. It really is us just providing you with an 8-page application that's online. Now we have premium onboarders through the IRA custodian that set an appointment with you. We actually set the appointment with you, but they call you and walk you through it. And all you have to do is just have your current statement for your existing IRA right in front of you. And you just take all of the information off of that and you fill out the application together with the premium onboarder. And it's just such a great process. And most of these get done within a couple of weeks. And there might be His Glory members out there saying that, well, mine only took a week. Other people maybe take 3-4 weeks. But in the grand scheme of things, you should get the process started right away. And you can hold both gold and silver that's stored at a third-party depository, but it's physical gold and silver that you could take delivery of in a true emergency if you needed to. So it's very important.
I like how Bo says, you don't have the key to the front door of the bank. It's so true. When there's a
Yes.
run, it doesn't matter what you got in a safety deposit box. You got to have access to that physically. And people are starting to be more aware about the banking collapse. And they want. Is there a number that people should look at as about how much money they should keep in the bank versus which they should move over to silver and gold?
For me, I'm with the traditional idea of 6 months of your monthly expenses. For me, I want to have that in cash because if you're invested in gold and silver too heavily, especially silver, if you buy it from us today and turn around and sell it back to us a month from now, likely you're going to sell it for less than what you paid for it today. I mean, it's not always like that. Sometimes it goes up. Bo made his second to last purchase in November of last year, and silver ran up like 40% after that. But not everybody out there is going to time it like that, nor should you really try to.
Right.
You should just accumulate silver when you can and just forget about the whole idea of trying to time the market and get in low, sell high. We're not trying to necessarily make money with silver and gold. We want to use it to be able to preserve our capital and use it as a hedge against inflation, and also have things that are tangible, a world's currency that's tangible that you can hold in your hands. And like both of you have said, you're not at the mercy of the bank needing to have the doors open in order for you to put your hands on what's yours. Even like my local branch of Wells Fargo near where I live, which is not too far from the office in Sherman Oaks. And with that branch, they just remodeled the whole thing. It's like they just remodeled the entire branch. It's beautiful in there, but all the cubicles where all the bankers used to be, there's only one that's filled. They're all empty. And the tellers, there's only one teller there every time that I go. And I heard somebody in line behind me the other day. So they're creating long lines by doing this. And someone behind me in line said, "Wow, it's so beautiful in here. Now, are you guys going to fill all those cubicles?" And the manager was standing right next to us, and she had been talking with me when someone else asked her that question. And I go, "Yeah, are they?" And she goes, No, we're not going to. So the banks are going to be a thing of the past. Everything's going to be done online and with our phones, and ushering in this gold-backed central bank digital currency is definitely where they're headed. And we've talked about so many times that when that happens, all your transactions can be seen by anybody that needs to see them. It could be government. It could be you could be subject to yes or no. You can do this purchase, or no, you cannot. Yes, you may. And I just want to have things that are outside of the centralized banking system. Anywhere I travel in the world with gold or silver, I can buy things with it. It may not be as simple as using a credit card at a grocery store or pulling out a few greenbacks and paying for food, but there's somewhere that you can buy things, just about anything you want with gold or silver anywhere in the world.
So I was at a minor league baseball game in where was I? I was in Michigan. Took my son to the minor league game, and I was thinking about that as I went up and paid for the hot dog he got. Don't tell Dr. Sherwood he got a hot dog. But anyway, we were paying for that. I was thinking to myself, because I just got a text about the banking system. I said, what if they didn't like one of my Instagram posts, and you go to make that purchase and that card shut off? What do you do then? Because we're talking, these are biblical times, Bo. I mean, we've never are going to has experienced anything like this in our lifetime or in the world's lifetime.
Yeah. Right. Well, this is the thing that I want to add. It's just as much as all of what both of you are talking about with regard to central bank digital currency, you see, they've exposed their cards. So the past 3.5 years, they've basically shown themselves who they are, who the players are, who many of the players are, and what their agenda is. Tell me that I'm wrong. Like if we didn't have the past 3.5 years, we would not have known all of what they're exposing to us right now, and how fearless they are, right? Because why are they so fearless? They have no one to oppose them. They've controlled every agency, every two-letter agency. Everything is fully controlled and captured. So there's no fear on their part, and they're basically now pushing an agenda that they want to push out. So what they're exposing, what they have exposed, is the agenda for their one world government. Because if you read the Revelation, well, the Bible, Revelation, it talks about very specifically about, they talk about the chip and getting people chipped, and you won't be able to buy and sell. These are scriptural words. I don't know the exact scripture, but basically talking that you will not be able to buy and sell without the mark on your right hand or your forehead. So all of these things are precisely what are coming. But here's the thing, right? God's a waymaker. Correct me if I'm wrong, Pastor Dave, okay? But if they came in and they basically had their agenda right now, the central bank digital currency, the social credit score system that they're running out of China right now, if all of this were to happen across the United States, correct me if I'm wrong, but we're finished. Okay, that's the point. If all of this happened right now, because they're only this close from implementing it and making it all happen, right? So should this happen, we're basically finished in terms of having any really ability to transact freely. And so they ultimately get control. What do they want to do? Control humanity. That's what Babylon is. Babylon is a control system to enslave and control humanity. Why? Because when Satan was led on the earth, he was kicked out of heaven, so he has nowhere to dwell. He wants earth. And so he considers us. That's why Disney has a movie called The Minions, right? We are the minions in Satan's head, and they basically can't stand us, like I was talking to you about earlier. Because why? We're occupying it from Satan. What Satan believes is his property because he stole it from us in the garden, and he's had control of it for 6,000 years. And he now wants, what was the Georgia Guidestones, right? If they're at the time, right now, I think there's like 8 million people. The Georgia Guidestones said 8 billion people. The Georgia Guidestones say 500, which means that they need to remove 7.5 billion people, which is basically, if there's a room of 19 people, they want 18 out of there,
Wow.
dead. And they want to control that. They want to control that one, right? So they want to control the 500 million. See, that's their agenda. So these people are Satanists. They work for Satan. They're demon possessed, and demons cannot stand God's creation, like we talked about. So all they want to do is push on their agenda. They just like their horse, like on the racetrack, horses have blinders. That's how demons operate. They look straight ahead. Doesn't matter what's left and right of them. That's why they have no fear of what's going on, because they know everything's controlled and captured right now. And so ultimately, if they had their way, okay, yes, we would see very soon the central bank digital currency, and that would be horrendous because then that leads into the social credit score system. They can turn you off. But again, who's God? The waymaker. Okay, God's a waymaker. So what's about to happen is exactly the opposite, because when you read Proverbs 13:22, the wealth of the sinner is stored up for the righteous. What does that mean? It means that what happened at the garden when evil stole our inheritance, that's evil. So the wealth of the sinner. So what happened at the garden is stored up for the righteous, the church. So that's what we know when you look at the third seal of Revelation in the Bible. There's a rider with scales in his hand sitting on a black horse. Well, where did you see the scales last? Belshazzar, many tackle offshore seamen. Was simply the simplest form of what happened there was read the Bible, 24 hours. Belshazzar is dead. He lost his kingdom. Everything, the tables flipped. And so we're about to see his glory manifest. This is not the return of Christ. This is a window of divine favor. We're in the glory season right now. God's now starting to destroy the United States in terms of what they built. And it's going to get worse and worse and worse of the destruction as we head into September here. And then it's going to be insanity as we're in November. Okay. So this year, as it started, which is evil, the turning point was the summer solstice when the connection was Biden and his son. I'm sitting, when they're literally, they're trying to work China, right? Sitting here with my son was with my father was the text. So that was a link of the summer solstice. And then 6 months later is the winter solstice, for the shortest day of the year. By that time, the world's going to be at a point of 180 degrees shift. And the massive delineation point started just now in August. We're racing into a month from now, Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, forget about it. They're about to lose control of the financial system because this is the end. This is so important. You got to read scripture, and Leviticus states, thou shalt consecrate the 50th year and proclaim liberty throughout the land. Roe v. Wade was overturned in January. I'm sorry, Roe v. Wade was overturned in 2021, but Roe v. Wade became law. This is so important. In January of 73. You add 50 years and you're now 2023. Okay. The petrodollar, the agreement with Saudi Arabia was signed in July or August, basically in the fall time, it's late summer into fall of 73. Add 50 years to that, it's now. It's like right here, right now. So basically, everything's about to be flipped because of the word. The word's very clear. Thou shalt consecrate the 50th year and proclaim liberty throughout the land. And so as much as I can say X, Y, and Z, the bottom line is it's scriptural. Okay. The Bible's very clear. Go to it is written. It is written. It is written. That's what Jesus kept doing in the wilderness to Satan. It is written. So it is written that this is the 50th year. And in the 50th year, it is written God's going to flip the tables on the evil people. It is written, if you read Second Chronicles, if my children who are called by my name will humble themselves and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways. We did that. So we turned from our wicked ways and we overturned Roe v. Wade last year. So now it is written, because it says then, if we overturn Roe v. Wade, because that's Second Chronicles, then I will hear from heaven and heal their land. Again, it is written. So this year is going to be a year the world will never forget. We are going to get a window of divine favor of 3.5 years that you can't even comprehend. The wealth is going to come in so big, it will blow your mind. The blessings of glory, because glory itself too, meaning when people, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank here in terms of miracles. Sorry, yes. The miracles, the signs and wonders are going to be so incredible. It's going to blow people's mind. Why? Because we're heading into, and it's stated scripturally or biblically, and more so prophetically, a billion soul harvest.
Yep.
You're going to get a billion soul harvest. Why? Because of signs, miracles, and wonders that are about to manifest on this earth when God gives us a window of divine favor that we cannot even comprehend, because it's coming. And the banks that we talked about, they're going to collapse, just like what happened to Pharaoh at the Red Sea. When that Red Sea closed, Pharaoh was finished. When the Red Sea closes, the banks are finished. When silver spikes vertical, goes to 30, 40, 70, $100 an ounce, it's a bank killer. When gold goes to 3,000, 4,000, 10,000 gold, okay, it destroys the banks, because they use this, like Andrew was talking about, these contracts, these paper contracts, to manipulate the price. And so 1,000 million is a billion. Think of how many billionaires are in the world right now. Okay. It just takes 1 to 2 billion, I believe. I think it's like, maybe Andrew could maybe correct me, Andrew, but I think it's 1, 2, maybe $3 billion, and all the gold and silver is gone.
Yep.
Gone. Okay. So if it's gone, guess what? The paper supply they can make whatever digits you want, ETFs, whatever. But when the physical is gone, because one billionaire or 2 billionaires step up and they make a purchase, every single ounce of silver in the world that's remaining in the stores can be snapped up in one day, and it's gone. Continue on that, Andrew.
Oh yeah. So to continue on that specifically, we go back to last year, I would say about 9 months ago, and silver had really bottomed out at about $18.50 an ounce, in that range. And at that time, there was one short period of time where the premium for a silver eagle coin, which is 1 ounce of silver, was $18 an ounce over the spot price, and silver was just $18.50. So it would cost you $36.50 to buy 1 ounce. Sounds like a terrible deal, but what had happened at that time is that the shortage of silver was just so great that that silver spot of sort kind of broke away from the universal spot price that's that you use for futures or that you use for ETFs.
The paper price.
Yes. So the physical price just broke away from the paper price for like really I've kind of never really seen it happen like that where you're literally paying 100% premium for 1 ounce of silver. So it's gone down drastically since then because there is silver that's available, but it just, like Bo just said, it really just takes like $1 or $2 billion to flood into the physical silver market to just wipe it out. And just there was one lady last year that bought something like, I want to say like $500 million worth of silver, and she wanted to remain anonymous, but I know some people that worked on that deal, and I've heard that it's one of the heirs to the Walmart fortune.
I heard that too.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like that's proof right there that just one purchase can just like blow away the silver market. I mean, if someone like Elon Musk just said, if he just did a tweet about silver, if he said something like, if you're not buying physical silver right now, then you don't know what you're doing. That's all he would have to say. And then there would be a run on silver. That he has to be careful what he tweets about because it's gotten him in trouble before.
Yep.
But that by itself would make it so that there's an enormous run on silver. So the physical market can break away from the paper market. And with all of the events that we've talked about on this podcast and on all of our previous ones, it really just takes one or two of those, and that will happen. And that's why we like silver so much.
Yeah, well, I had General McInerney and General Valley. They come on every month, and we've been talking to them for maybe 2.5 years. And it was just last week. They're saying, look how many things we talked about in the last 2 years are happening in rapid fire now that we can't even keep up with. The same is true to what we've been talking about. It's here, and it's coming quicker and quicker. I guess the simple thing is, would you rather have $10,000, for example, would you want that in a bank with what you know is coming, or would you rather have that in physical silver? It's just taking one asset to another.
Yeah, I'd rather have the physical silver all day long. And I'll tell you that sometimes we do meet clients and they make purchases of with cash for gold and silver. And I've noticed something pretty funny when I'm going through the cash. It's not all the blue $100 bills. I'm seeing mostly the older ones and the ones from 20 years ago and before. So what that tells me is that before, people were just putting $100 bills away under the mattress or in the sock drawer or in the gun safe at home. But now they don't want to have that cash anymore. It's like I knew one guy that had been saving $100 bills since the 1960s, and he has like over $500,000 and just that he just saved like $100 bills at a time. And he just said, Andrew, let me know when you're ready, and I'll bring out my Winnebago. I will come all the way from Oklahoma, Tulsa, and come out and meet you. And he wanted to get rid of the cash, and that's what so many people out there are doing. So I think owning gold and silver is the new way of tucking away cash for a rainy day.
Yep.
There's also a saying, right? If you don't hold it, you don't own it.
Yep.
Makes sense. And now also think about, where does Satan operate? In the middle of everything, right? So our entire world is based on these two words, faith and confidence, right? If you've got money in the bank, don't worry about it. It's handled. The bank will take care of for you. If you've got a 401k and IRA, don't worry about it. There's a money manager. They're taking care of for you. And so, and years ago, that was true. Years ago, you'd have money in the bank and, you felt good about it, right? And now what's happening is, you turn your TV on, you look what's going on in the world, and you start to seeing all of these truths coming out. And then just like this past weekend, this video goes viral. I got 8 million views already on it. There's really no argument about the video because the song, because really what it's saying is that how the whole world is now being corrupted. And it's corrupt. It's over, right? And so you can't trust anybody. So back to those two words, faith and confidence, right? If you believe that all your money's in the bank are safe and you have no worries, then I guess this show's not for you. But if you think that, if something feels wrong in your heart at some point in your life, it's not so much what's in your head. It's like, it doesn't sit right with me. it's just something feels wrong in my stomach. It's just I feel something's messed up. There's someone's lying to me. There's some, like, you just get this feeling, this nasty feeling. And if you're getting that feeling, because why? Because you're starting to realize you're waking up, because you know that your God's speaking to you, telling you there's something wrong. And so if you've just got digits in your bank, understand that in the 70s there was no billionaires. There's trillionaires, and then there's a quadrillion now. And the reason being is, or quadrillions now, because they just create money out of thin air. So they don't loan you anything. They create it out of thin air. When you look at your bank account, they're just digits. Okay. And so Haggai 2 verse 8 states, the silver and the gold are mine, saith the Lord. Andrew, Pastor Dave, what's been money for 5,000 years? Gold and silver. Okay. So, you know, nothing wrong with having digits in your bank if you feel good about it. Okay. But on the other end of it, if that's all you have, and you just got 401ks and digits and digits and a bunch of digits, and paper statements keep coming in and show you all the digits you've got, and you truly have not even an ounce of gold and silver, then you really don't understand history. Because there's been no currency that's ever lasted more than 50 to 100 years, ever. Okay, the United States dollar is the longest currency that's ever lasted, but no currency has ever lasted hundreds of years, ever. The only thing that's ever lasted thousands of years is gold and silver. So if you don't own any gold and silver, you truly don't understand history, because you never studied it, and you don't understand finance. And that's so important to understand. And the finishing, this is the thing. I know we talk about precious metals, you know, and buying precious metals if you have the means to do it. But there's a lot of people that don't have the means, and Pastor Dave touches on this all the time. See, God's a way maker. So those people that say, hey, well, I don't have money. I live paycheck to paycheck. I don't have enough to buy precious metals. Think about why. Why don't you have finances to buy precious metals? Because Satan steals all your money.
Yep.
Get it? He steals all your money. All the money that comes in goes to pay a utility bill, goes to pay a student loan, or maybe goes to pay a mortgage, goes to pay your gas bills, just goes on and on. So Satan's stealing your money. So the reason you're living paycheck to paycheck is because you have a mortgage, a student loan, you've got credit cards. And so Satan's stealing your time. He's stealing your energy. And that's what he's been doing. He's a liar, cheater, and a thief. He's stolen your inheritance. And the reason you're in that situation is because of Satan. And see, this is what the beautiful part is. When I talk about a window of divine favor, God's about to intervene. When the silver and gold explode, the banks blow up. There's no one holding your note anymore. Debts will be canceled, not forgiven. No. Canceled. Canceled is a legal term of no legal merit. Why? Because that's what a jubilee is. Mm-hmm. Debt cancellation is a jubilee. We're at 50 years. This is Leviticus. It is written. 2 Chronicles. It is written. And what a debt jubilee is, banks collapse, which means that the bonds that hold you down, that make you live paycheck to paycheck, is suddenly gone. And God's going to give you freedom and joy like you can't even imagine. And so that is what a debt jubilee is, when God intervenes and destroys the bondage that Satan put upon the world. And so it's going to be exciting. And those that do have the means, fantastic, because he's a multiplier, and you're going to see multiplication, and then you'll be able to bless all of those around you, because it's written, love thy neighbor.
Yep. And, history, you mentioned history, but more important than history is his story, the Word of God. John was taken up in the book of Revelation to see the future event, and he talked about silver and gold. He didn't talk about Rome's currency. He didn't talk about a U.S. dollar. It was very specific. It was silver and gold would be in the end days.
Amen.
I see that as we're winding down for the available time here, there was one thing that I wanted to share after the last time the three of us met. And one thing I like is that, Pastor Dave, you always ask me, what are the things that the banks are doing to fight back and try to prevent people from taking money out of the bank to buy gold and silver? And I had shared a story about a lady that wanted to send $124,000 wire transfer and was just told flat out no by the bank, saying that it was probably a scam. And long story short, that person ended up closing out their bank account and opening up a new bank account, sending us a check. But here's something I've never seen in all my years in gold and silver. I've got it here right on my phone. You won't be able to really see it, but this is on Prime South Bank letterhead. And I sent it to you, Pastor Dave. It says to a client, Prime South Bank is committed to protecting its customers from fraudulent transactions and scams and other prevalent things in today's world. Older adults face challenges that can be difficult to navigate in, as they are sometimes targeted by scammers who use deceptive practices. So you guess where it's going. They're telling people, they're putting it in writing to try to scare you out of buying physical gold and silver, and by convincing you that we're the bad guys so that you keep your money there in the banks, because the banks know that they're in trouble. That's why they're fighting back so hard. So when you see this stuff happen, that's when you know that you're listening to the right people. You're getting your news from the right people, like following His Glory or listening to the 2020 forecast. You're doing the right thing because you have an understanding of what's happening in the world, but you have to fight back. You can't let these things scare you. And yeah, there are a lot of scams out there. So you definitely want to do business that with partners of people that you trust. So if you believe that Bo Polny vetted us properly, then great, give us a chance and reach out to us because we'll take good care of you.
I want to say one thing just about precious metals themselves too. The scariest point in time with relation to your finances, because these are your finances. These are things, it's cash you have in the bank. This is, money that you've got invested, whether it's in 401k, whatever it is, or whether it's in your bank account, okay? When it leaves your bank account, because you authorize it, and you've sent a wire, that's usually how it happens, or you send a check, but usually it's a wire. And until it arrives at your front door or your depository or wherever it is, that's a very uncomfortable time point. And the larger the dollar amount you sent, the more uncomfortable you are. And let's leave it at that. So I'm just saying, when you send the money, you better know who you're sending it to.
That's right.
And Andrew, I've sent Andrew several times, and it's worked out like a charm and lightning speed. So thank you, Andrew.
Oh, thank you.
And that's happened to me as well. And here's one of the last things I want to close on is I've heard so many horror stories when the 2008 crash happened about financial planners telling people fraudulent things just to save their own butts, to try to save money and to try to bail out a bank. And it costs some family members I know 30, 40, 50% of their lifetime savings. It's just, it should have been prosecuted. I know some of it did, but they got away with a lot of just fraud.
Yeah, if you watch the Big Short, like I mentioned to you guys a couple times recently, that I just rewatched, at the very beginning, or at the end, they give a synopsis of just how many people were put in jail through the housing crisis that caused the financial collapse. And I think it was just one or two people, and it was unrelated to it was just straight fraud. It was people that actually stole money. So really nobody got in trouble.
They were lending money to dogs.
Literally.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. I'm making you an update. That's what's going on. And no one went to jail.
Unbelievable.
Welcome to Mystery Babylon. Period. And it's only worse now. So if you thought 2008 was bad, oh no, this is magnitudes worse of 2008. What's coming is the black horse, the rider's scales on his hands, third seal, the greatest financial event in human history. You thought 2008 was scary? Oh no, you ain't seen anything yet. When the US dollar crashes, loses its status as the world reserve currency, the only option that these people are going to have, the bankers, they only have one option, and that's to turn on the printing press like you have never seen before. Okay, so if you think we've seen money printing, we're in the quadrillions now. Oh no, you haven't seen money printing yet. When this system blows up, they're going to turn on the printing press because they're going to try to fix everything, and they're going to throw trillions of dollars at the system, and they will not be able to hide anymore the financial fraud in the world. And you're going to see a moonshot in precious metals like you have never seen before.
Beverly Hills Precious Metals Exchange is a client-focused firm devoted to assisting our clients with precious metals. Our clients range from first-time to serious coin collectors and investors seeking to add precious metals to their investment portfolios. We are not interested in volatile investments, leveraged products, and intangible assets. With rising inflation and the devaluing of the dollar hurting middle-class families, investing in gold and silver ensures protection for your hard-earned money. Save the value of your money today by investing in gold and silver at Beverly Hills Precious Metals.
When this system blows up, they're going to turn on the printing press because they're going to try to fix everything, and they're going to throw trillions of dollars at the system, and they will not be able to hide anymore the financial fraud in the world. And you're going to see a moonshot in precious metals like you have never seen before. And then you're going to have the builder 45 return because he needs to rebuild a collapsed financial system. Oh, and very interesting calculation. You know how Trump's got sevens all over him, like from the day he was born to the day Israel became a state, it was 700 days. From the day he was Israel became a state to the day he walked into president as presidential office first day, it was 70 years, 7 months, and 7 days. So Pastor Dave and Andrew, check this out. This is what God revealed to me just last week or a few days ago. From the day he got married to Melania. Okay, you know the story? Actually, quickly, Dave, give us a story of who Esther is in the Bible.
Esther is the Jewish princess that saved the nation of Israel when Haman tried to wipe out the Jewish people.
Thank you. So from the day Trump got married to Melania to the Purim that's coming on September 23rd or 24th of this year, it will be precisely 7,000 days to the exact day.
Wow.
So we are going to see a flipping of the financial tables this year. We're going to see the Haman effect, people hanging on the gallows next year. It's going to be a year the world's never going to forget, and Melania will be Esther, based on the calculation.
Amazing. Andrew, closing remarks?
Reach out to us. Go out to bh-pm.com and just have a conversation with us. It's a no pressure deal. If you've bought gold and silver before, let us know. But there's an online form where you can put in your name, telephone number, email address, and some notes about yourself. If you would like to learn about how to convert your existing retirement account into one that holds gold and silver, then just put that in the notes section. We'll get back with you within about 24 to 48 hours. But it's not a high pressure deal. Just look at it like a conversation with us. And if you feel comfortable, then we'll help you proceed with it.
I don't know what date this stuff is going to happen. I feel it imminent. That could happen any day. But I do know one thing for sure. God always works on his Hebrew calendar. Always.
Amen.
It is just mind-blowing how many things have happened. And we have 3 big ones coming up in the next 2 to 3 weeks.
That's right. The past 3 Rosh Hashanah. So since September 20th, 21st, some 20, 21, and 22, and now 23, historic things have happened. Ruth Bader Ginsburg died on Rosh Hashanah 2020, people. The Evergrande bonds collapsed in 21, and in 22, the British pound collapsed. Every single one of those events happened on Rosh Hashanah. Yep. And now we're just a month away from Rosh Hashanah 2023. God's not going to be mocked. The financial system is a fraud. I don't want to give anybody financial advice. I think people need to make their own decision. Our world is where it's at because of free will. So if you in your stomach feel something's really wrong, well, maybe what we're talking about makes a lot of sense. What we've talked about has been on the mark for months now. Okay, so massive financial shift is coming. The greatest financial event in human history is about to happen, which is going to be incredible and horrible. It really depends on what side of the fence you're sitting on and have you prepared or not. So
that's right.
Thank you, Pastor Dave and Andrew, for having me or having all this being here again. It's been a pleasure, and God's in charge.
He is in charge. Light wins. And the last thing I'll just add to that is, again, you're not going out and buying a boat. You're not buying a piece of property. This is just taking one asset. Do you feel safe in a bank, or do you feel more safe with physical silver and gold? It's that simple. Mm-hmm. That simple. All right. That wraps up today's show. God bless you, and go in his shalom.